Welcome to the first video of week 3. This is an exciting week as we cover one of our favorite modules of Modern Requirements, the Visualizations tool. We will start this week by looking at the diagramming tool in Modern Requirements for DevOps. In order to do that, we will cover 3 topics very quickly. This is going to be a bit of a quick start guide. Step 1 is going over how we can build a basic diagram. Now to create the diagram that we want to make, we will use some stencils to help us get started quickly. We are also going to cover dragging and dropping certain shapes onto the actual diagram canvas. For step 2, we'll see how we can utilize the Analyze tab to automatically generate requirements, use cases, and test cases. In step 3, we are going to see how we can link the requirements to individual nodes. And in the end, we'll discuss drill-down diagrams briefly. Again, this is going to be a quick start guide. If you want to see more details on this, you can go to our tutorial videos for diagramming, which will be linked in this video at the end. Alright, so the first thing we are going to do is to select our diagramming folders. Keep in mind that you can always build more folders to organize your diagrams, but we are just going to build the diagram here. Here we can give it a title, and we can go ahead and utilize any of these stencils to build out our diagrams. Whether it's a UML or cross-functional flowchart, you're going to be able to create them inside the tool if you just start with a blank one. But these stencils do help you get started quickly. So here we can select our basic flowchart and we can hit on Create. This will create a diagram for us. We can see that it's a blank canvas, but the basic flowchart stencils are already expanded for us to be used. If we would have selected any other stencil, we would have been directed to one of these tabs here. But let's start by building a diagram using the basic flowchart stencil, and we'll call this node as a start node. Here we can see that either by double-clicking on the node or just dragging a node, we can change the text. We can style or rename the node from the styling menu. You can change the name of the node as well as apply the other settings from the style menu. Now as you have your start node in the canvas, you may want to go ahead and bring in a process node. You'll notice that this node will connect to the existing node automatically. There are 3 ways to connect the nodes together. The manner in which you choose to connect the node depends on your work preferences. The first way to connect these together is to click on a node, drag it from the stencils, and let them automatically connect together. When you click on the canvas without selecting any existing nodes and bring in another node from the stencils, they will not connect automatically. We can connect both of these nodes by clicking on the line tool. As you select this line tool, it will allow you to create a connection between these nodes. This is the second way to connect the nodes together. The third way to connect these shapes together is to click on the line tool, which allows you to pick the source and destination that you want your line to go to. And this is how you can connect your shapes in 3 different ways. Having learned this, you can bring in more shapes from these stencils to complete this diagram. For instance, we can bring in an end node to finish off the diagram. Once you have completed the diagram, we can use the styling menu to make visual changes to the shapes. You can make changes to the title of the shape, the color, as well as the font of the title in the Style menu. You can also utilize the shape itself by double-clicking on it. it will allow you to add a title. So here we can name this shape process 1. We're going to add names to the other nodes as well. We can call them process 2 and finally, process 3. Now, once we have labeled all of these nodes, we can go ahead and perform an analysis that will highlight the different scenarios, use cases, and test cases that will stem from this flowchart. Please note that the number of scenarios may increase depending on the details within your diagram. Now for the scenarios, here you can select the scenario and update its title, and we can call it as Happy Path User Story. And once we have renamed this scenario, we can publish it as any work item type from the drop-down. But we'll go with the user story work item type. And here we have created a work item created using the Analysis tab of the Diagram module. Now, the work item that is created will contain a screenshot of the flowchart. It will also be linked to the diagram work item. Now the users can create use cases from the Use Case tab here. So both of these scenarios will be highlighted. So as you are selecting the different scenario, it will highlight the path it's considering, and you can label these scenarios as primary, alternate, exceptional, as well as ignore. Now here you can provide the title for the use case, and you can publish it as a use case work item for the test cases. The users can identify the different test cases that are possible from the flowchart. And here you can label the title as Test Case 1. And here we can publish it as a test case work item. Now when publishing, a test case work item will be created. The summary of the test case will contain the screenshot of the flowchart. This steps will also contain the steps to create this process flow and link it to the diagram work item. So one note about this is that a lot of people wonder, what value do you get for using the Analysis tab over something else? Well, if you're using the Analysis tab to publish your work items, you learn to build diagrams in such a manner they are created in a more contextual format. You no longer have to do some of this rework of adding in the manual test steps. This is because your diagram is cohesive enough that you could publish these work items and move on. So we say that you automatically generate your requirements, your use cases, and your test cases. But to finalize your diagram, you may want to go in and add in requirements directly to your nodes. And this can be done by going into the Links tab. And here you can create brand new work items and link to your requirements. You can use the work item type, and here we will call it as user story, and we'll create it. Now, our user story work item is created and linked to this shape. You can also bring in existing requirements that are already part of your project. You can fetch these requirements using the query ID or title contains fields. They will be linked to this diagram or the specific shapes of this diagram. If the users want to see which work items reside in this diagram, they can turn the Show Link Overlay function on to highlight the nodes that have requirements attached to it. If you want to learn more about the diagramming tools, how to add labels to our diagram, and the overall functionality of the tool, head over to our diagramming tool tutorials. We will show you things like how to add in a diagram or a mock-up that allows you to create drill-down diagrams in addition to its other features. We will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.